You're stepping into a new frequency, a new way of understanding the universe, a new way of understanding wealth. This is a moment of activation. And if you've been asking the universe for a sign, if you've been praying for a breakthrough, a shift, a way out of the same exhausting cycle, this is it. You didn't find this video by accident, because nothing in this universe is random. Everything is vibration. Everything is energy. Everything is governed by laws. And today we're diving into one of the most misunderstood, yet most powerful laws of all, the Fourth Hermetic Principle, the Law of Polarity. This law has the power to change the way you see your finances, the way you understand your struggles, the way you relate to prosperity. So, stay with me, because what I'm about to share with you, you won't find in your school textbooks, but it holds more power than most people will ever realize. Before we go any further, I want to invite you to subscribe right now, because this channel is more than just content. It's a portal, a place where ancient wisdom meets modern manifestation, where science, spirit, and financial freedom become one. So click that button, turn on the bell, and prepare your mind for expansion. Now let's talk polarity. What if I told you that lack and abundance are not opposites, but rather two ends of the same spectrum? That fear and confidence, poverty and prosperity aren't separate energies fighting each other, but different degrees of the same energy? Because that's what the law of polarity teaches us. And it's not just philosophy. It's been echoed by physicists, psychologists, mystics, and alchemists throughout history. This principle states that everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. Opposites are identical in nature, different in degree. What does that mean in real life? It means that if you're broke, you're already holding the same energy as wealth, just on the lower end of the spectrum. And that is life-changing. Because if the energy is the same, you don't need to create something new. You don't need to chase money. You don't need to beg, struggle, or force the universe to give you more. You simply need to shift your position on the spectrum, to rise in frequency, to elevate your emotional, mental, and vibrational state. You don't fix scarcity by focusing on how little you have. You transmute scarcity by moving toward the vibration of abundance. This is what the Hermeticists call mental transmutation, and it's one of the highest forms of manifestation mastery. Think about it. Cold and hot, same energy, just different temperatures. Fear and courage, same emotion, different ends of the scale. Lack and prosperity, same current, just different degrees. So the key is not to destroy your current state. The key is to climb the scale. And that's what we're going to learn to do in this video. You'll discover how to consciously apply the law of polarity to reprogram your financial reality. We'll go deep into mindset, vibration, and aligned action. We'll explore real-world tools and spiritual wisdom, and you'll see how ancient knowledge meets quantum truth. Because polarity isn't just a concept, it's a bridge, a spiritual elevator that can lift you out of limitation and into freedom. So, here's my invitation to you. Stay until the very end, because I've saved the most powerful transmission for last, a section that will bring everything together, so you can walk away not just inspired, but empowered. If you're ready to move from fear to confidence, from debt to overflow, from survival to creation, then say it out loud with me now. I am ready. I am the energy of abundance. I am shifting, and I am rising. Let's begin. You see, the moment you begin to understand polarity, really understand it, your entire relationship with money begins to shift. Because what this law reveals is something most people never even consider. You are never far from what you desire. You're just on the opposite end of its vibration. That's it. Not separated by fate, not blocked by the universe, not broken, not cursed, not left out. Just misaligned. And once you know that, you realize you don't have to fight for change. You just have to slide toward a higher frequency on the same scale. The ancient Hermeticists taught this over 2,000 years ago, and yet it's only now, in this quantum era, that science is beginning to catch up. Let's pause for a moment and really feel that scarcity and abundance are not different energies. They're the same force at different vibrations. The same way cold becomes hot by increasing temperature, lack becomes wealth by increasing frequency. So the question isn't, how do I get rich? It's, how do I raise my vibration to match the wealth that's already here? Let that land. Because the moment you shift the question, you shift the path. Now, this is not just spiritual talk. It's deeply rooted in what modern thinkers and scientists have explored too. Let's look at the work of Neville Goddard, a man who taught that everything begins in the imagination, and that the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the bridge between thought and reality. What Neville was really teaching was polarity in action. He was saying if you feel like you are already wealthy, if you become a vibrational match to it, you're no longer asking, you're aligning, you're sliding up the scale. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, believed that the unconscious mind plays a huge role in shaping our external world. He spoke about the integration of opposites, the shadow and the light, the conscious and the unconscious. Once again, polarity. Jung understood that until you make the unconscious conscious, you will call it fate and it will run your life. Sound familiar? In your financial life, until you recognize the polarity of your thoughts, emotions, and energy, you'll think you're stuck. But you're not stuck. You're just tuned into the wrong pole. And tuning is a choice. That's the key. You're not a victim of your frequency. You are the composer. Let me give you a real-life example. A woman came to one of my workshops, overwhelmed with debt. She had tried budgeting, cutting back, working extra hours. Nothing changed. She believed she was bad with money. But when we looked deeper, we discovered something powerful. She wasn't bad with money. She was vibrating in fear. Her self-worth was low. She felt unworthy of ease. She had polarized her identity to the end of lack. So we worked on shifting it, not by making her work more, but by helping her see she was already holding the same energy and just needed to move. She started meditating on abundance, speaking differently, walking differently, even brushing her teeth while affirming, I am on the frequency of overflow. And you know what happened? Within 2 months, a client she hadn't heard from in years paid an old invoice. Within 4 months, she launched a side offer she never had the confidence to do before. And within a year, she had cleared all her credit card debt. Same woman, same world, but a different pole. She didn't chase money, she changed frequency. This is what polarity makes possible. Now pause, breathe, feel into this question. Where have you been standing on the wrong end of the spectrum? Not just in your bank account, but in your thoughts, your language, your posture, your self-image. Because everything is vibration, and every vibration has polarity, which means you can change. You don't need to fix yourself. You just need to shift. So say it with me out loud or silently. I choose to slide toward abundance. I choose to rise in frequency. I choose to tune into prosperity. Because it's already here. You just need to line up with it. Let's keep going, because the next part will take you even deeper. We'll explore how to use contrast as a tool, how to take your current limitations and flip the pole so that they become gateways to wealth. But before we move forward, pause this video if you need. Drink some water, ground yourself, because this next step is going to activate a part of you that's been waiting to rise. And if this is landing for you, if you're feeling the shift, drop a comment below that says, I am no longer on the frequency of lack. I am tuning into abundance now. And don't forget, subscribe, hit the bell, and stay with me to the end. The deeper you go, the higher you rise. Every time you experience a setback, every time something doesn't go the way you planned financially, you have a choice. You can collapse into the lower pole and become the frequency of lack, fear, shame. Or you can recognize what's happening for what it truly is, a mirror, a contrast, a signpost. Because polarity exists to teach you. Every time you feel broke, it's showing you how deeply you desire abundance. Every time you feel like there's not enough, it's giving you a portal into more than enough. But if you get stuck in reaction, if you let yourself identify with the low end of the spectrum, you cut yourself off from the power of this law. So here's the key. When contrast shows up, don't resist it. Use it. Let it sharpen your clarity. Let it fuel your choice. Let it magnetize your desire. Now you might ask, but how do I move from one pole to another when I'm drowning in bills, or when I'm afraid to even check my bank account? And I get it. That feeling is real. But here's something you need to hear and feel in your bones. You don't shift reality by force. You shift it by frequency, by training yourself to hold a new dominant vibration, especially when it feels hardest. So the question becomes, how do you hold a frequency of wealth when the evidence around you screams otherwise? You practice. You repeat the thoughts of someone who feels safe with money. You move your body like someone who trusts that abundance flows. You breathe like someone who isn't chasing, but receiving. Even if it feels fake at first, because vibration doesn't care if it's fake. It responds to what you practice most. That's why rituals matter. That's why affirmations work, not because they trick the universe, but because they recalibrate your polarity. One of the simplest practices I've taught my students is this. Every time you catch yourself thinking a thought of lack, pause, breathe, and say out loud, "Thank you for the contrast. I now choose abundance." That one phrase changes everything. Because you're not pretending you didn't feel fear. You're just using the polarity. You're flipping the switch. And over time, you'll find yourself standing in the energy of a person who no longer begs the universe for change, but commands it through frequency. Let me tell you what happened to someone in my community. He was a father of two, working 2 jobs, barely making ends meet. He stumbled upon this principle during a moment of deep exhaustion. Instead of giving up, he began to study it. He wrote "polarity" on a sticky note and placed it on his mirror. Every time he looked at it, he'd remind himself, this version of my life is just one end of the spectrum. He started visualizing the other end, not with desperate need, but with quiet certainty. He showed up to work differently. He spoke to his kids with more calm. He paid his bills not with fear, but with gratitude. And one day, out of the blue, a friend offered to partner with him on a business idea he had buried years ago. Within 8 months, that business had replaced both of his jobs. He now spends more time with his family, and his biggest problem is deciding which investment to choose next. Same man, same world, but he flipped the pole. He used the law of polarity instead of being used by it. You can do this too. It doesn't matter where you're starting from. It only matters which direction you choose to lean. So as you move through your life today, start to notice, what am I identifying with? What am I embodying? Which end of the spectrum am I choosing in this moment? Because awareness is power and choice is liberation. Now stay with me. In just a moment, we'll move into the final reflection, a powerful conclusion that will leave you fully aligned and inspired to embody prosperity like never before. But before that, if this video has shifted something inside you, if you're seeing money, reality, and energy in a new way, now, let's talk about something most people completely overlook. Language. Because language is one of the most direct mirrors of your vibration. You say, I can't afford this. And the universe responds, okay, that's your frequency. Here's more of that. You say, things like this never work out for me. And the universe, without judgment, simply delivers what you affirm. Because your words aren't just casual expressions. They are commands to your subconscious and to the field around you. When you understand polarity, you begin to catch yourself in the act of self-sabotage. You stop speaking as the version of you that's stuck, and you begin to speak from the version of you that already knows. Money is just energy. It flows to the place where it is welcomed, not to the place where it is chased in desperation. And here's the paradox. The more you chase money from lack, the further it feels. But the more you become a match to ease, to trust, to gratitude, the faster it arrives. Because you're no longer vibrating at the pole of scarcity. You're moving up the spectrum. You're becoming the cause, not the effect. Let's do a simple practice right now. Think of one financial situation that is bothering you. A debt, a fear, a number in your bank account. Now, instead of reacting to it, observe it through the lens of polarity. Say to yourself, this is not a dead end. It's a reflection. This is not who I am. It's just where I am right now on the scale. And now, visualize the other end. What would it feel like if this resolved completely? If money showed up with ease? If you received exactly what you need or more without struggle? Let that version of reality become more vivid. See it, hear it, feel it. This is how you raise your frequency. This is how you start becoming magnetic. Because polarity teaches us that you don't eliminate your problems, you transmute them by leaning toward the other pole, again and again and again. Now I want to share one more real-world story. A woman who had been stuck in a cycle of financial survival for over a decade, working as a freelance designer, charging too little, saying yes to every client, even the draining ones. When she found the law of polarity, she made one bold decision. She doubled her prices and expected clients to leave. But the opposite happened. She attracted new clients, more aligned ones, who didn't just pay her new rates, they respected her work more. She didn't just change her prices, she changed her polarity. She started speaking like a woman who knew her worth, She stopped apologizing for needing rest. She said no to urgency. And guess what? Her income tripled in under a year, without burnout, without hustle, without manipulating the algorithm. Because she tuned into abundance and it responded. Let that be a reminder. You don't need to force success. You just need to stop resisting the abundance already available. The more you fight what is, the more you reinforce the vibration of lack. But the more you relax into trust, the faster you shift to the pole where your prosperity lives. And this is the magic of polarity. Every problem contains its own solution just at the opposite end of the scale. Every block is a bridge if you stop pushing against it and start aligning beyond it. So, from this moment forward, whenever something triggers fear in you around money, pause and remember, this is just one pole, and I have the power to shift. Let's anchor that. Say it with me slowly, intentionally. I no longer chase money, I invite it. I no longer panic, I trust. I no longer believe in limits, I believe in polarity. Let those words settle in. And if you feel that something is beginning to shift inside you, if you're realizing that maybe, just maybe, you're more powerful than you thought, then this is your moment to rise, to go beyond reaction, to become the frequency that wealth can't help but find. Stay tuned, because the final closing of this video will bring everything together and help you activate this principle in your everyday life. But first, if this spoke to your soul, drop a comment below and write, I choose abundance. Let the field know. Let your energy know. Let the universe know. So now you know. Polarity is not just an abstract idea. It's not just spiritual poetry. It's a cosmic law that's been operating in your life, whether you've been aware of it or not. And today you became aware, and that changes everything. Because awareness is power, and once you can see that every financial experience you've had has simply been a position on the spectrum, you are no longer a victim of it. You are the navigator. No more saying, this is just the way it is. No more staying stuck in stories that don't serve your expansion. No more shrinking your dreams to match your current reality. From now on, you expand your reality to meet your highest frequency. You shift the pole. You shift the narrative. You shift the energy. And guess what? The universe will always, always respond. Because it's not judging you. It's not withholding from you. It's simply echoing your state. So if you want more, become more, feel more, align more. Money is not cold or cruel or complicated. Money is a mirror. It reflects what you expect, what you embody, what you're willing to receive. And the truth is, you're already worthy. The pole of abundance already exists. It's not something you earn, it's something you tune into. Right now, as you're listening, take one deep breath. Close your eyes if you can, and just feel the shift happening within you. No need to force, no need to fix. Just lean into a better feeling thought, a softer emotion, a more generous vision of what's possible. Because polarity is always in motion, and you are the magnet. So let this be your mantra. I am moving toward abundance. I am aligning with ease. I am open to receive more than ever before. Feel that, hold that, repeat that, and watch what happens. Because when you change your pole, your world changes with it. If this video resonated with you, if you feel something opening up inside you right now, take a moment and let me know in the comments. I flipped the switch. Let this be your declaration. And if you haven't yet, Subscribe to the channel because this is a space where your vibration rises, your awareness deepens, and your reality bends to meet your vision. Turn on the notifications so you never miss a moment of alignment. Because this isn't just theory. This is your new way of living. From polarity to prosperity, from reaction to creation, from doubt to destiny. And as you leave this video, walk differently, think differently, vibrate differently. Because you, my friend, are no longer stuck. You are aligned, you are magnetic, you are ready. And the universe is listening. I'll see you in the next video. Stay open, stay powerful, and stay aligned.